welcome back to my channel, everybody. If this looks like a different setup, that's because it is. Today we are in my kitchen, at my kitchen table. You might have seen this table in the background in some of my other videos. Today we are painting a paint by number. This is going to be a gift to my friend, and I wanted to get this done. It's super close to Christmas, so it's probably not going to be a Christmas present. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a late Christmas present. But that's what we're doing today. I am filming on my cell phone, and it's on top of the new tripod that I got. And that is actually sitting on a Reebok shoebox because I needed some height to it. And it's like a shoebox, but it actually doesn't have any shoes in it. It has kitchen supplies because that's what my mom put the stuff in, because she just couldn't get an actual kitchen box or organizer. But that does not matter. So today I have this paint by number, obviously. I have skulls and roses, and you know, it's like a Day of the Dead type of thing going on. If you see stains on it, that's because on the instructions it told me to iron it out, and I did, but I didn't put anything on top of it, so I guess it stained it a little bit. These are all the paints that we're using today. Well, probably not all of them, but some of them. So, yeah, that's what we're doing today. Obviously, since we're doing this today, obviously. So yeah, those are the paints. And normally you get like little brushes with blue handles on it. I find that those brushes don't last very long, and so I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but I got these paint brushes. There's more than this one in the pack, but I got these for like they're detail brushes, and so that's what we're painting with today. Also, for water, I have this. It's a Beck's cup, product of Germany. You probably don't know why that's funny to me, but it is. So, actually, I need a paper towel to clean my brushes off. So, I don't have a paper towel. Shoot, it's attacking my mushrooms. That's what you get for not going to the grocery store when you needed to. So, we'll just use something else. So, I got it. It's cool. We're cool. So, I think now we have everything. I just want to make sure. Excuse me, kisses. Okay. Oh, that's been in the way. Oh, we're not even filming. Oh, yeah, we are. Okay. So, it's been 3 minutes. There's my cat. Could you kindly get off? Please. I would very much appreciate it if you got off my table. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit your nose, kisses. I know. You guys are so cute and so adorable, but I'm trying to do something. Thank you. Just stay over there, I guess. Kisses. Are you okay, baby? Yeah. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. You're such a good girl. You are a bad girl. Get off my table. Please get off my table. Stop it. Kisses, get down. I know, I love you. But kiss down. Down. I know, baby, I know. Thank you. I love you. Yes, kisses, I love you too. Can you get down, please? Your claws hurt. Yeah. Yeah. For some pets. I will give you some pets. Yes. Yes. Okay, are we good? We good? Alright. So, let's get this party started. So, I'm going to be continuing over in this section. I have some like beads or pearls that I want to fill in. But we'll start with, do you freaking mind? I'm gonna put these over here because I don't trust you. Yes, you're so cute. Alright, so dip the brush in the water. Get it all nice and pointy. And we are going to start off with cat. No, 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 no. Do you mind? I know. I'm being mean. Shoot. Okay. So I think we're going to start off with one. Why not? Tap, tap, tap. Getting a little dried out. That's not good. It's been a while since I painted any of this. So, this is what we're doing today. How are you guys doing? I'm doing okay. Sorry about my cat. He's having issues. He's fine. This is normal. But, I'm not even dressed yet for the day, by the way. Like, I have to go to work tonight for my part-time job. And I have not gotten ready at all. But that's okay. I'll get ready later. I don't have to go until 5. It's probably like a little after 1 right now. Bastet! Stop it! Please get away from the tree. She's mad because I asked her to get off the table. But I don't know if you guys know, but I live in Pennsylvania. I'm not going to tell you exactly where because I don't want to give that information out. However, I and many other people who live in Pennsylvania, especially in the middle of it, just got some snow, and it hasn't been all that terrible. Like, it wasn't that deep compared to some other parts that got it, but you know, more inches. I had to take off work for 1 day, so I probably got a point for that, but whatever. I am not in the best of moods. This week has just been garbage all around. Well, it was sort of like a continuation from like last week of the garbageness that's been happening. I got in trouble at my other job, my main job, for bullcrap. I don't want to go into too much detail because I really can't, because, you know, reasons. And thing is, I got accused of disrespecting somebody, my lead, because apparently I refused to do something that he told me to do, except he never told me to do anything. He asked me a question, and I answered the question, and he didn't like the answer, which is perfectly fine because the thing he was asking about was kind of confusing. And I don't mean like he didn't like the answer like he was like upset about it. He was just confused. Like, I have no problem with this guy so far. He's a new lead on our line. And, you know, he's just trying to learn. Nothing wrong with that. However, he did ask a question, and I gave him an answer that he didn't agree with. Because the instructions on how to do the thing were kind of vague. Or not like so much vague as in, like you could have interpreted it in a different way. Cat, I swear to God, if you do not get off this table. Yes, fine, just stay over there, that's fine. No. Don't lay down. Oh my gosh. That's it. Just get off. Thank you. Thank you. Love you. Where was I? Oh yeah, so this dude asked me a question. I answered it. He didn't like the answer. So he went and he wanted to get a second opinion. Perfectly fine. Wasn't upset about it. I'm like, yeah, sure. The person who is our supervisor comes in at 10. Or I said, I don't know where she was at. And he was like, oh, she comes in at 10. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the person who told me to do it the way that I've been doing it also comes in at 10. So you can ask her too if you'd like. And he was like, okay. So, this was, I don't know, like 8 o'clock. And he waited until they came in, or at least the supervisor came in, and he was like, he asked her the question, and she answered him, but the answer she gave was not the answer that the quality control person had given me. So, we were discussing it. I guess we could say we were arguing about it. Like, we weren't getting really loud. I was getting a little frustrated because the way the instructions were written was saying something could be repaired or something could not be repaired, but we would only fix that on if the complaint was filed by the customer, which it had not been. So it shouldn't have mattered with the other repair they were asking for. But anyway, so I was trying to explain how, like, what the quality control person had told me, and she told me, like, I don't think that's right. I think you should be doing it this way. And I'm just like, okay, well, I would really appreciate it because I'm getting two different answers. If you would ask the person, the quality control person, to clarify the situation. I said, I'd really appreciate it if you did that for me. And she was like, okay. And to set the work that I was working on aside until she got back to us. And so I did. And so an email was sent out, and the quality control person agreed with my supervisor, and she told me to do it. My supervisor told me to do it the way she wanted me to do it. And I'm like, okay, fine. If that's what she said, even though that's not what she said before, that's cool. I'll do it this way. And so I did. And a little while later, the quality control person comes up to me. And they were like, hey, did you do this thing this way? And I'm like, yes, I did, because that's what I was told to do. And she was like, okay, well, shoot, I think that was wrong, because I just reread it, you know, more carefully, and I don't think that was the right thing to do. And I'm like, oh, well, okay, well, what do you want me to do? She was like, what do you want me to do? I was like, what do you want me to do? Sure, we'll go with that one. And so she was like, well, just leave it be for now. and we'll see like what happens. And so I'm like, okay. But she was like, anything else that comes over like that, just put it aside until I get some clarification myself. I'm like, okay. That's how I did. That was Thursday of the week prior. So not this past Thursday, but the Thursday before that. And there has been absolutely no other communication between me and the quality control person whatsoever. Now you're thinking to yourself, well, okay, well, you didn't really seem to be getting in trouble at this point. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It's because the rest of this happened afterwards. So I was sitting at my desk like I do, and we're moving on to number 3 now. We're going to do... Oh, I missed one. Shoot, that's fine. I'll go back later. There's some 3s over here that we're going to do. Like right here and right here. So my lead comes back, and she was like, hey, did the quality control person get to you about setting the work aside until she gets back with us about it? And I'm like, yes. She was like, okay. Also, next time, when your lead, talking about the guy who originally asked me the question, tells you to do something, you need to respect him and just do what he says. Now, I don't know about you, but that's pretty much telling me, hey, do what your lead says, even if you think it's wrong. Now, I wasn't confused about the situation. Other people were. Like I said, the quality control person told me to do one thing, and she didn't inform anybody else about this decision. So, ended up having other people confused because of the way we were doing it previously. Was not the way we were doing it now. Well, of course, since nobody was updated about the change, that's when we ran into a problem. So that's where the issue arose. Like I said, I wasn't confused. I mean, I'm confused now, but not back then. And so, like I said, I knew the way that the quality control person wanted me to do it. And I would think out of all the people that of who I should listen to, it should be quality control, right? Because we want to do the right thing. So what my supervisor is telling me is that I should do what the lead tells me to do, even if I think it's wrong. And now, I don't know if I could even ask for clarification on anything in the future, because they're going to tell me to do it one way, and they're not going to clarify the issue. This is my interpretation of what's going to happen, not what actually is going to happen. So I want to make that clear. Anyway, I don't know if they're even going to get clarification if I come to them with another question, which I think is not good. Because if they tell me to do something one way after I ask a question about it, if I'm confused about anything, and later on it is found out that I was doing it wrong, guess who's going to get in trouble? It's not going to be them, it's going to be me. They're going to say, why didn't you ask for clarification on the issue? And no one's going to appreciate me when I say, well, you told me to do it this way. Because they like to throw around this phrase a lot. You need to use common sense. Well, my common sense is if I have a question about something, about what the instructions are saying, and I want clarification, I should go to the person who is most likely to know the answer. Now, I'm not saying I should go over my lead or supervisor's head, because that wouldn't be good, but that person is there to answer questions of this nature. And if we don't go to her for those questions, what's the point of even having her? Am I right? So, anyway, my supervisor was pretty much telling me I was being disrespectful for not doing what my supervisor told me to do. Except my supervisor didn't tell me to do anything. They just asked me a question. So I got a little muffined about that. Yeah. Wasn't happy. And that is not the only thing that has happened in the last week. So, oh, and by the way, like, we still haven't gotten an answer from the quality control person. I don't know, like, if she's even in the building or not, because she might be on vacation. I'm not sure. But we've heard nada from her. We're going on to number 4 now. Anyway, so I'm going blind here. I'm running blind here. And I still have work from several days prior that I still needed to get done. And we have a 2-day turnaround. Like, we have to get the work out in 2 days. Well, I had phones that had been there for more than 2 days. And so it was a priority to get them out. So I went up to my supervisor and I said, hey, I have these phones. You know, the quality control person has not gotten back to us. Well, I asked first if they had gotten back to us. And she said no. And I'm like, okay, cool. So what should I do about this work that I have? And she was like, just do what I told you to do. And I'm like, okay. I'll do what you tell me to do. And so I did. And that was a Friday. Came back Monday, still no word. Tuesday, still no word. Wednesday, still no word. Thursday, still no word. And Friday, still no word. So, I am now over a week waiting for a response. That's probably not going to happen, maybe, until like after the holidays. Because I have no idea where the quality control person is. So, yeah. And that is not as I said previously, that's not the only thing that's happened. I went to work, obviously, and at my other job, and that's when I found out sometime last week that it was going to snow on, what day was that? Wednesday? Yeah, it was going to start Wednesday and not stop until like Thursday morning, early morning. I think we're going to 6 now. That's 6. So, anyway, I went, obviously, we went into work at my main job, and they're saying, hey, you know, we still have to work on Thursday and all that. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. Because we're supposed to get like 16 to 18 inches. Now, I don't know if you guys know this. Probably do. Is that 6? 5 or 6? Hold on. My eyes are not the best. I think it's a 6. I live alone. And so when I do have a brother, And you would think that if there was snow coming, I do have a tractor that has a plow on it. However, I do not know how to operate it. I cannot reach the pedals, the gas pedal on it. So I can't go anywhere with it. So yeah, I can't use it. So you would think that since it's going to snow out, my brother, who does know how to use it and can reach the pedals, would come over and, say, hey, you need any help? And I would have been like, yes, please. And he would have come over and, plowed the driveway for me so I could, get to work. Or something. He didn't. So I was stuck shoveling my driveway by myself. Now, that's not too horrible. It's a freaking... You're an adult, you can shovel your own driveway, which I agree with. I only did half my driveway. I'm going to 17 now, by the way. So I was only going to do half my driveway. Just enough to get my car out. So I won't, so I could go to work and, do my thing. And that was the plan. So on Wednesday night, evening, when the snow had started, it started falling earlier, in the day, but when it really started to lay, I went out and I shoveled half my driveway, and it was really nice because it was all that nice fluffy stuff. So it wasn't hard to shovel, which was great. And I wanted to shovel a little bit so that in the morning there wouldn't be as much to shovel. I can tell you right now that really freaking doesn't work. I think the snow just blew back into the where I shoveled previously, so it didn't really make much of a difference. And over the night, it turned from snow, nice fluffy stuff, into rain, and so it just soaked through everything. So what was once nice lightweight snow is now really, really heavy. Which is great, I guess, but not for shoveling. I wish I was a kid again so that, I could enjoy snow like I once did. I didn't really play in it too much, but I did enjoy the look of it. Of course, that was because I didn't have to work. But, anyway, I went, and like I said, I shoveled half the driveway, went back in, and as I was going, it was nighttime, it was 6 o'clock, so, it gets dark early here, and it was dark out, and so I had my garage lights on. And so, when I went to turn the lights out in the garage and go back inside because, job well done and everything for getting all that done. Where did I start over? Whatever. I fumbled with the light switches because I wasn't really looking where I was putting my hands at. So I fumbled with the light switches, and I noticed that the one light switch, the third one in the row, because there was 3 light switches to one thing, and I knew it was there. It's been like that for years. But anyway, the 3 light switches go to the 3 different sections of lights in my garage. And the first 2 turned off, no problem, but the third one got kind of stuck. And so I finally was able to force it down, but it was in the off position, but the 3rd section of lights in my garage were still on. And I couldn't, I flicked the switch several times because it was like unjammed at this point, and it was not working. And I got mad, and I decided to just forget about it and go inside and, like, you know, get ready for bed. Like I said, it was 6, but like around 6:30 at this point. But I was tired. Anyway, so I went to the I went to bed and woke up at 3 o'clock the next morning because, like I said, we were still supposed to go to work. But there was a thing on Facebook saying, hey guys, we're still working, but it's going to be a late start, so come in at 9 instead. And one, I don't trust stuff on Facebook. So the next morning I woke up at 3. I'm supposed to be there at like 5:45 in the morning. And I called the call off number, and you could actually talk to a person. Before it was just like an automated message, but they changed that. So now it's 18, removing the 18. You can now talk to a person, and so, which is nice. And so a woman answered, and I'm like, hey, I work, over at Schenker, and I was wondering if we have to be in there at 6. And she said, no, the it's a late start, so you get to come in at 9. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Do you happen to know if we are getting out at the same time or if we have to stay? Because I don't know, like, what their protocol is for that. And because we didn't have any significant snow last year. And she said you would have to stay to 6. And I'm like, well, that's a problem. I have to be at work at going to 12. I have to be at work at my other job at 5. And she was like, oh, so I don't know how that would work with people who have another job. Where did I see the 12 at? I saw it. 12. Anyway, that's 13. I'm sure your supervisor will be able to work with you with that. And I'm like, okay. And so I hang up. After I say, thank you and all that. And there it is, right in front of my eyes. I then went back to bed until 6. And by the time I got out to start shoveling, it was 6:30. A lot of 6s going on, right? So I shoveled for about like an hour from 6:30 to 7:30. And I was maybe, this is a big maybe, a third of the way done for half of my driveway. And I wanted to leave early so that, because I didn't know how bad the roads were, so I would have enough time to get to work. And I don't think that was going to happen with the hour, because I wanted to leave at 8:15. So this was like 7:30, and I had come back in, and I was like, I started a conversation with 2 of my other co-workers asking if they were going to come in. One said yes, one said no. And so I sat there thinking about it. I think I went back out to like shovel a little bit more. Came back in around 7:45. I barely did anything significant to the driveway. And we're going to 13 now. Anyway, I didn't really do anything significant, and so I ended up calling off. And I was like on the phone on the call off line for like 15 minutes. Like, I was put on hold. The last time I checked that I was being put on hold was like 7 minutes. And I had still waited several minutes after that. So it was probably like around 15 minutes that I was on hold. And they finally got back to me, and I gave all of my information that I needed to. And, you know, I called off. Perfectly fine. And so, next, I'm like sitting, you know, at the table here in the kitchen. This one, actually, the only kitchen table I have. And I'm like, well, since I called off, I don't really need to worry about the driveway so much. Like, I can just put that aside for right now, and I'll go and look at the light switch. And so I went outside, and there was a rack in the way. Like, you could still, like, reach through the rack to, you know, get the light switch. I went to 8, by the way. And I had to move the rack out of the way, and I took a screwdriver with me, and I removed the light plate, the light switch plate from the light switch, from the wall. And I was looking at it after I took the plate off, and I didn't see anything. I'm not an electrician. I don't know what the heck I'm looking at. But it didn't look like anything was broken. So my one friend does like electrical work at his place of employment. And so I texted him. I'm like, hey, Mr. Electrician, you want to, or I explained the situation. And I'm like, do you know, like, what that's about? And he was like, well, I can't really say anything until, like, I look at it. He was asking me questions, and I don't know. Like I said, not an electrician, don't know what I'm talking about. And, because he wasn't really getting it, and at this point I had to come back inside, I was like, you know, hold on. And so I go back out, and at this point, my neighbor, my next door neighbor, is outside snow blowing his driveway. And I looked to see who it was. I didn't know if it was going to be him or his son. And it was him, my neighbor. And, you know, he was just snow blown away. And so I turned my attention back to the light switch. And I took a picture of the light switch so my friend could understand, like, which light switch it was in the garage. And I also was, like, flicking the light switches just to make sure I was right about, like, where the light switches, like, what the light switches were to. And I was right. And so I went back inside and I started texting him again. And he was like, well, like, I'm not exactly sure. I can come over and look at it if you want. And I'm like, oh, yeah, if you don't mind. And so he was like, okay. But he didn't tell me a time, right? So I'm like thinking, oh, if he's going to come over, I need to, like, you know, finish that freaking driveway. I went back to 1 because I missed one. Get my brush out again. Squish, squish, squish. And, I think he responded to me about something, but, I didn't look at it because I was going out and doing more. I had left my phone on my table and went back out to shovel some more snow. And while I did that, I picked up my shovel, which I had left, like, in the driveway, and I did, like, 2-3 shovelfuls. And my neighbor was like, hey, as soon as I'm done with this, I can help you with yours. I'm like, oh, no, that's fine. There's reasons why I didn't want him shoveling or snow blowing. He had gotten into an accident, and I don't want him, like, you know, doing more than he needed to. Like, I'm perfectly capable of shoveling my own driveway. Like, why put more stress on him, you know, when he's still recovering? So, I said, oh, no, thank you. I can do it. No problem. And it's no problem. And he was like, okay, well then, why were you recording me? Why did you take a video of me? And I'm like, a video of you? I didn't do that. He was like, yeah, yes, you did. And I'm like, no, I didn't. And he was like, yeah, I saw you taking a video of me from your garage, like just a minute. I'm like, no, I didn't. I was taking a picture of my light switch. And then I started to explain the situation behind the whole light switch thing. Now, the thing is with me, I do not like confrontation. And so when anyone confronts me, this even happened the other day with my lead, I get upset. And I start shaking. Like, not in anger, I'm just like, so, I guess it's a fear response, but I'm not exactly sure. I just know I start, like, shaking. And, like, I get on the verge of tears. And when that happens, I also start stuttering. And so I'm trying to explain this, light switch situation. And I'm stuttering and shaking and, about to cry. And I'm not sure if he noticed the whole about the cry thing or even the shaking thing. But I'm sure he noticed the stuttering. And he didn't believe me. And I had gotten closer to him because I couldn't really hear him. My hearing isn't all that great, but I wasn't like too close. But he was like, you do realize that this is my property, right? And I'm assuming, because he didn't actually explain what his freaking problem was, he was assuming that I had a problem with him snow blowing his snow onto my property. Now, there is a sliver of land, of yard, in between his driveway and my driveway. And part of that is his, but the majority of it is mine. And he was snowblowing, his snowblower spout was facing my yard. And the thing is, I was only ever planning on shoveling my one half of the driveway, because I only needed a spot to, get my car out. Like, I wasn't going to bother with the other half. So if he wanted to snow blow his little heart out and, put it onto my property, the land, or the other half of the driveway, you do you. I don't give a crap. It's a driveway that I don't use. So, I didn't have a problem with that, but, I wasn't even thinking of that when he brought up the whole property line thing. Now, the thing is, in the past, because this was my parents' house and he had run in with my dad, and I'm thinking that my dad probably did something similar years ago, when he was still alive, and he still might be feeling some type of way about that. And so he, I guess, assumed that I, like my father, would film or take pictures of him without his consent just to be a mean person, I guess. I don't know. What would I even do with that? Like that video? Who would I send it to? I don't know. Oh God, he's pushing snow into my yard. That's eventually going to melt anyway. So it's not like, it's a terrible inconvenience. Oh no. Now, I might be, saying this, all calm now, but I was, super mad. So not only did he accuse me of, filming him without his consent and being like my father, which I do not appreciate for many reasons, but he also accused me of lying, or he insinuated it because he didn't believe me about my light switch story, because I would just randomly think of a light switch story in that situation. I don't know, man. But anyway, at this point, I was still outside, and I'm like, I did not record you. I can go get my phone and show you that there was no video of you on my phone. And he was like, no, you don't have to do that. I'm like, no, I'm going to go do that. And so I ran back into the house, and I grabbed my phone, and I ran back out. Now, in that time, especially since I was running and I'm overweight, and I get very easily winded, there is no way that I could have deleted anything off of my phone. And so I opened my gallery and I showed him my phone, except when I got back out, he was already still snow blowing. He had continued snow blowing. And he completely fucking, excuse my French, he ignored me. Didn't even acknowledge that I was standing right beside him and saying, look, here's my phone. Look at it. And he wouldn't even acknowledge me. Which made me even angrier. Because, like, how dare you accuse me of being creepy like that and then just ignoring me when I'm trying to prove my innocence? Like, you don't get to do that. You don't get to, like, accuse somebody of doing something and then when they are trying to prove you wrong, get a stick up your butt about it and, refuse to acknowledge the truth. Like, I get it. You don't like that you were wrong, but that's not my fault. That's your fault. Like, you're the one that did the accusing, so you get to look at the evidence. So, and I didn't have to show him my phone. Like, that's personal property. Like, I didn't have to show him anything on my phone. But I thought, like, hey, you're going to accuse me of something, I'm going to defend myself. And he didn't even care. Haven't heard a word about it since then. Thing is, his wife was, like, sort of friends with my mom. And, like, she's very nice. And, I have no problem with her. So I don't know what the heck he told his wife about the situation. Probably, like, said, oh, I'm just like my dad. I'm weird. Like, I haven't bothered you guys at all. Like, even when you asked me for help, I gave it. Months ago when you needed it. And this is how you treat me? Don't ask me for anything again. Like, the stuff that you borrowed from me, you can keep it. I'm not going to take it away from you, since you guys still need it. But don't ask me for anything more. Because I'm not going to... You have one chance with me. And you just blew it. Because you were arrogant and prideful. And you were picking on someone who is quite a bit younger than you. Thinking that I wouldn't defend myself. So... It's not my fault you're paranoid about something that happened between you and my father years ago. When did I ever give you the indication that I was anything like him? I even confessed some things to you about him that, had happened. And I agreed with you when I said, when you told me about what he had done to you. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like him. Sorry about that. I apologized on his behalf. I mean, he's dead, so what does he care? But, like... I know how he was. You don't need to tell me. I believe you when, you said he did something. And I agree that that was the wrong thing to do. So I don't know where you get off, like, thinking that I'm anything like him when I'm not. So that happened to me on Thursday. So it's just like two days. Thursday of last week and then, like, Thursday of this... What's with Thursdays? I don't know. Maybe it's my new Mondays. I got accused of doing stuff that I didn't do because people were too prideful to admit when they're wrong and wanted to take it out on me. So... How's your guys' week been? Because mine, not the greatest. And like I said, I'm, like, very calm right now. I might get a little bit heated right there in the middle of that. But, like, you should have seen me the day it happened. I was freaking livid. Like, I was telling everybody about it that I could because I just wanted to vent over and over again about how much of a jerk he was about the situation. It's like, you don't get to accuse me of something and then call me a liar and then think I'm going to be okay with that. So, oh, and by the way, my light switch is still messed up. Like, if he had just even taken a gander at my garage, he would have seen that the light switch was uncovered, that the rack in front of the light switch had been moved even before he had come out, and that all the light switches were in the down position, and there was one section of light still on. But did he care about that? Any of that? No, he did not. He just cared about being right. And then when I was trying to, prove that he wasn't right, he just ignored me. Like, is it a thing? Like, when men become fathers, they think that they know everything, and they become an insufferable know-it-all, and also that they become, like, freaking paranoid for no reason. Like, I understand being paranoid when my dad was around. I get that. I understand that. But, like, why were you paranoid with me? You could have just, like, asked nicely. Like, hey, like, what were you doing in your garage? And I would have freaking explained it to you. But no, you had to jump into why were you, filming me or videoing me, or the hell he said. So yeah. That's how my snow day went. Like, that's also something that, is ruined for me. Like, when you're a kid, you get a snow day, and you're all happy about it. You don't have to go to school. Don't really have to wake up. Or if you did wake up, you could just stay asleep. Don't have to worry about it. Had to make it up later, though, in the summertime, which kind of sucked. But, whatever. And, and one number 22, by the way. I haven't been telling you guys the numbers. The one I did right before this was 23, which was a black color, and then the one before that was number 2, which was like a really dark green. So yeah, I miss snow days, is what I'm saying. Just a lot of things about, being young. Well, younger. Being an adult sucks. Sometimes. I don't miss the fact that your parents got to dictate everything. But it wasn't that bad of a kid anyway, so they weren't really all that bad. In that respect, anyway. So, also, like, the whole Christmas season has sort of been ruined for me. My mom passed away in 2019, in June. So it wasn't, like, super close to Christmas, like, half a year away. But that last year, I didn't put up the tree or anything. I just wasn't in the celebrating mood. And I was trying so hard to get into the, Christmas spirit this year. Put up the tree, put up a few decorations on the inside of the house. I'm sure you guys seen it in the other video, the tree in the background. But I'm just over this year. I want it to be over and done with. I just did my Christmas shopping for my friend, like, the other day. Hopefully the presents are here today. I'm going to go out on Sunday, get some wrapping paper, because the wrapping paper in the basement got water damaged, so I can't use that. Threw it out. Also, when I was at work the other day, I posted about this on Facebook. This was like sometime last week, I guess. well, I was listening to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And I'm like, you know, Santa is kind of a jerk because he knew that Rudolph was getting picked on. There's no way he didn't know, right? Like, he knows when children are being naughty and nice from, like, you know, millions of miles away, thousands of miles away, whatever. And he knows, like, you know, like I said, if the kids are bad or good. And you can't tell me he didn't know what was going on under his own roof, so to say. And he just let them, like, make fun of him and stuff. Like, it was so bad that his dad was so disappointed in him because his nose was a little different that he ran away as a baby, as a child. And so, because they couldn't accept that his nose was a little different. Like, it wasn't hurting anybody, right? And you can say, like, oh, yeah, the moral of the story was that, you know, you should accept people, you know, with, if you're talking about the, movie, you know, the claymation one, or not the claymation, the stop action one or whatever, like, they sort of feel bad about it. I don't think Santa ever says sorry. I just watched it. I don't think he ever said sorry. He said he was wrong, but only after, like, they needed him for something. And, like, his dad did feel bad, I guess, but only after he ran away. So, anyway, I posted about that on Facebook, and some people commented, but I saw a TikTok of someone discussing something similar, and he was saying, oh, well, Santa has to abide by, like, certain rules. Like, if you're bad, you know, or if you're good, you get presents. If you're bad, you get, like, coal, or, like, you know, the whole Krampus thing, right? And I'm like, okay, well, that's children, though. Like, this is the reindeer that works for him, pretty much. Like, he should have done better. Like, Santa knew better. But that's what I was thinking about the other day. And I rewatched the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer movie today. And no, I still agree, and I think it's even worse because I was just vaguely recalling some things that happened when I was listening to the song. But, like, even the elves were kind of mean to Hermes. Like, oh, he wants to be a dentist? Well, you're an elf, so you have to, like, you know, like, make toys, even though he didn't like making toys. They were forcing him to do the thing that he didn't like. And it's just like, Santa, like, what? Like, where are your morals? So, yeah. Let me see what this is at. It is at, an hour. So, I am going to end this video and hopefully put this up today. And maybe next time we'll do another section. I'm thinking I'm going to be, maybe I'll just finish out this area over here next time, which might take even longer than this small little section that I did. But we'll see. We'll see where the wind may take us. So I will see you guys in the next video. And I hope you have a good day.